Page 129. Mitzvosen lehiyosam olav kol hayom. The mitzvah is for the tefillin to be on him all day. You should wear tefillin all day. Aber b'nei shetzrichim guf noki shlo yaftiach b'hem shlo yasiach data mehem. Ve'ein kol adam yochol lizor b'hem. No b'shlo lanichem kol hayom. But because tefillin have to have what's called the guf noki, we've seen this concept a few times. The guf noki literally means a clean body. It's prohibited to pass wind with tefillin on, and also one can't go to the bathroom with tefillin on. So because it's difficult to be careful the whole day, and also shelo yasech datam, also one has to not have hesach hadas, which minimum means not to have any lightheadedness with tefillin on, and preferably to remember the whole time he's wearing the tefillin. So because of this, which is difficult, therefore we don't anymore wear tefillin all day. Because it's so difficult, and therefore the minhag is not to wear them all day. However, everyone should be careful to wear them during Kriyat Shema and Tefillah. Right? The minimum of Tefillah means shemoneh-esrei. Right? The minimum is Shema and shemoneh-esrei. That's the minimum. Okay. Says the MISHNA Berura Cotton Hay. This is 5 lines from the bottom of the MISHNA Berura. In such a short space of time, Kriyat Shema and Tefillah, we can be careful about passing wind and hesach hadas and lightheadedness, forgetting that we're wearing tefillah. So the cotton involved b'shas Kriyat Shema. Why is it so important to wear them during Kriyat Shema? It's called Kriyat Shema v'lo tefillin ke'ilu meid edus sheker ba'atzmoi. Because anyone who reads Kriyat Shema without tefillin is testifying against themselves false testimony. Because in the parasha of Kriyat Shema, we say that there's a mitzvah to wear tefillin, right? Right? It says it in both the first and the second parasha Shema. It's mentioned the mitzvah of tefillin. So therefore, if one reads Kriyat Shema with a command to wear tefillin and he doesn't wear it, then he's testifying against himself, and therefore it's very important to wear tefillin during Kriyat Shema. This
is only a reference to Kriyat Shema in the morning.
Correct.
Obviously.
Correct.
Yeah. Because it's not, you're still saying the same thing in the evening.
Right, but we mentioned that in the evening we don't wear tefillin. So it's not made to sheker because you can't wear tefillin, because you're not allowed to.
Right.
If he didn't have tefillin during Kriyat, when he davened shachris, he didn't have tefillin. They weren't available to him. Or he had tummy problems, and therefore he couldn't wear tefillin, which we're going to discuss soon. The whole day is the zman of tefillin. When he does get hold of tefillin, then he has to put them on, because the whole day is the time for tefillin. If he only has tefillin in the afternoon, if he knows he can get hold of tefillin in the afternoon, he's having shachris without tefillin. In the afternoon, he should put on tefillin when he gets hold of them, and then he should repeat Kriyat Shema. He should say Kriyat Shema with the tefillin on if he can.
If for some reason he hasn't had a chance during daylight,
right,
can he then do it, maybe without bracha, at night?
So we discussed this, when's the latest he can put it on. He can't put it on at night. We discussed, can he do it after shkia? Just give me a second just to... We saw this. Let's just have a quick look. Yeah, so so the MISHNA Berura that brings there, Siman Lamed Sif Kotel Gimel, he brings from the Pri Megadim, that if someone hasn't yet done the mitzvah of tefillin, he can put them on during Bein Hashmoshes. So that means he can put them on until Tzeis HaKochov, until the time of Motzei Shabbos. That'll be the latest. Right? Preferably one should do it before Shkia, before sunset. But if one hasn't put them on all day, and when one didn't manage to, when one only got hold of them after Shkia, one can put them on until the end of Bein Hashmoshes, which is 3 stars, which is the Zman of Motzei Shabbos. Okay. Let's continue. Where were we? Sivkot and Zion. Tefillah. וזהו לכל אדם. אבל אנשי מייסה נוהגים ללמוד אחת תפילה בתפילין. This is for everyone. Everyone wears tefillin during Kriyat Shema and Tefillah, but people, Anshe Maisa, people who try and do extra mitzvahs, they wear, they are known to learn after davening with tefillin on. One has to be careful though not to talk any devorim b'teilim with one's tefillin on. Not no idle chatter. Because he's going to come to forget about and wearing tefillin, hesach hadas and tefillin. Okay? So it is a good thing if one can to wear and to keep one's tefillin on a bit after davening, to learn a bit after davening, but one has to be careful that only if one knows that one's going to do it without coming to idle chatter, without coming to hafocha, to passing wind, to anything which is going to be mezazah with the kedusha of the tefillin. Okay. Let's have a look now at the next Sif Gimel. Koton hayidei lishmo tefillin b'ta'ara, shelo yishan shelo yofiach bohem, hagov v'shelo likonis ben b'lebeis hakisei, chayiv ovid liknos le'tefillin lechancho. A child who knows how to look after tefillin with ta'ara. Looking after tefillin doesn't mean when they're in the pouch. Looking after tefillin means while he's wearing them, he knows how to treat them correctly, meaning that he doesn't sleep with the tefillin on, and he knows not to pass wind with the tefillin on, and not to go into a bathroom with the tefillin on. And then his father has to buy him tefillin in order to be mechanech in the mitzvah of tefillin. Hagor, says the Umar, that's the opinion of the Shulchan Aruch. Says the Umar, Hagor, v'yishem et haikotin dafke shu ben yud gimel shana v'yom echad. However, the Umar says that here we're talking about someone who's reached the age of 13. The MISHNA Umar says a child under the age of 13, we don't buy tefillin for him because we're concerned he's not going to treat the tefillin with kedusha. He's not going to know how to control himself with the tefillin on. Therefore, we don't buy tefillin until the child is bar mitzvah 13.
So if he's bar mitzvah, we still call him a child?
In this case, the Umar saying the cotton is referring to someone who's 13. Yeah.
It seems also superfluous because it's obligatory that the child of 13 will start putting on tefillin.
Correct. So there's actually the Bialacha discusses. We didn't say inside. The Bialacha discusses if the Ramah means that you bite him when he turns 13, because 13 that's irrelevant of who the child is. Or no, the Ramah means perhaps that at the age of 13, now we have to see if he's capable of controlling himself. Meaning, not every child who reaches bar mitzvah would put on tefillin. Wow. It could be the age of 13. We then have to see: is he now able to look after his? Is he going to make sure he's not going to pass wind with tefillin? He knows how to not to be misachtas from tefillin. So it's not so simple that he tells 13 he's going to get back tefillin. The maskon of the halacha is as we do nowadays, right? 13, everyone gets tefillin. But there is a havamina that it could be that not everyone aged bar mitzvah is going to wear tefillin. So it's not so clear here, because it's so important that he knows that if he doesn't know how to control himself not to pass wind with tefillin, which it could be a 13, 14-year-old is not capable of doing that, then we wouldn't give him a pair of tefillin. So then what's saying, so the Shulchan Aruch holds that even a child under 13, if we know he can be careful not to pass wind with tefillin, not to be misachtas, we're buying tefillin. The Biur Halacha has an etzad, entertains the idea that it could even be that even above the age of 13 we're not going to give him tefillin unless he knows how to wear tefillin without passing wind. And the halacha is that the maskon of the Biur Halacha is the Umar just means to say that at the age of 13 we buy him tefillin because we're sure he knows how to control himself. Under the age of 13 we don't buy him tefillin at all because we're worried he doesn't know how to control himself.
So is the Ramah saying at the age of 13 you begin to kind of test him and train him to see if he's qualified?
So the Biur Halacha says no. The Biur Halacha thinks that could be an option, but the maskon of the Biur Halacha is no. The Ramah just means to say that age 13, now we think now we're sure he knows how to control himself. Now we buy him tefillin.
So there's no period before bar mitzvah when a child has tefillin and he's kind of learning how to put them on and the brachas. Okay, so the learning
the period of learning how to put it on, that the MISHNA Berura talks about that. It's a cotton yud base. Okay. So cotton yud base says the MISHNA Berura. There's the fourth line of the MISHNA Berura, fourth line of the page. V'achshav noagu v'devar masvachin noagu v'achshav noagu l'aniach beis oigim chodoshim kodem hazman. The minhag is to put them on 2 or 3 months before the time, as you said, in order to get used to learning how to put them on and say the bracha. The minhag here, in many places, the minhag is only 1 month. Everyone according to their minhag, 1, 2, or 3 months, whatever the minhag is. Okay. Fine. So that's the maskona that from the age of 13 or 1, 2, 3 months beforehand, a child can put on tefillin. Before that, there's no mitzvah of chinuch. Even though with most mitzvahs, there's a mitzvah of chinuch beforehand. A child before the age of 13, before the 3 months before 13, he may not put on tefillin because we're worried he doesn't know how to control his...
Taking this item to the extreme, if the child cannot control himself, and therefore cannot do a tefillin after a mitzvah, it would lead to maybe ridicule amongst his peers.
That's right.
And that's also another problem.
Right.
So where do you draw the line?
That could be part of the reason why we've come to the conclusion that...
no, if they asked him why you not put tefillin, he would give that reason. It would be ridiculous.
It would be embarrassing, yeah.
Which is not a good idea either.
Right.
Another mitzvah is not.
Right. So... yeah. Either way, the conclusion is he can always put on tefillin, but one should make sure that bar mitzvah boy knows this halacha. One knows this halacha, knows how to control himself, and if not, on days when it's difficult, then you can't put them. Okay, let's move on. Siman Lamed Ches.
Does not stop cooking cabbage.
Sorry?
Does not stop cooking cabbage.
Right. Yeah, that's also. if it causes problems for him, then yeah. Don't do it on Friday night. Shabbos we don't
That's
matter.
fine.
Siman Lamed Ches. Din mi heim hachay. We continue with the same idea. Siman Lamed Ches. Din mi heim hachayovim betfillin v'apturim. The halacha is who's chayav to put on tefillin, who is potter. And we're going to start with the same halacha we've been discussing till now. Sif Aleph. Cholim me'ayim potter mit tefillin. Someone who has stomach problems is potter from tefillin. Hagor says, even if he hasn't got no pain from it, he's potter from tefillin, right? Here we're talking about two types of tummy problems. We're talking about someone who's got severe diarrhea and someone who has problems that he has to pass wind. Right? In both of these scenarios, he would not be able to put on tefillin. Hagor says, I'm in the middle of the moment. Hagor even he has no pain from this tummy problem. But any other type of illness, if he has pains from his illness and he can't concentrate on the mitzvah, then he's potter. But if not, he's chayiv. Okay. So someone who has tummy problems, he has either severe diarrhea or he has problems of passing wind, he should not put on tefillin, or at least he should put on for the minimum amount of time. Right? If he knows he's going to have difficulty the whole way through davening, then he can put it on later during davening. He doesn't have to wait for the whole of davening. Remember, the minimum is Kriyas Shema and Tefillah. Right? So if he knows he's going to find it difficult for more than a 10-minute stretch, then he can put it on just before Kriyas Shema, right? And take it off just after shemoneh-esrei. Okay? But if even that he can't manage, then he shouldn't wear them. He should daven without tefillin. Right? And if he can, he should put them on even just for a second. Right? Even if he can put them on just for a moment, just to go a day without tefillin. That's preferable. If he's any other sort of illness, and it's difficult for him to do tefillin, he should try and be miyashiv dat. So he should try his best to concentrate on the mitzvah. But even if that's too difficult, he can't do it, then he's potter. Okay. Says the MISHNA Berura of cotton hay. Let's have a look at MISHNA Berura of cotton hay. Potter. Right, if he's got an illness and because of the pain he can't concentrate on the mitzvah, then he's potter. If he wants to be machmir to put on tefillin, even though he can't properly concentrate on the tefillin, he can. He may do that. One may not put on tefillin if the top of his body is uncovered. Even though one may make brachos as long as his private parts are covered, even though the top part of his body is uncovered, he may make brachos. However, it's not correct for him to put on tefillin with the top part of his body uncovered.
Does that mean he's wearing a vest and a tzitzit? He's covered?
Yes, to cover his heart, to cover his chest. One should make sure it's covered. In the case of where one's ill, one should make sure that at least one's chest is covered. Safe base. Someone who is he's positive, he's sure that he's not going to be able to daven without passing wind. Till now we talked about not wearing tefillin if one needs to pass wind. It's also a problem of davening shemoneh-esrei. Davening tefillin here means shemoneh-esrei. One may not daven shemoneh-esrei if one knows one's going to have to pass wind during the shemoneh-esrei. It's better that he misses davening rather than davening if he knows he's going to have to pass wind. If he knows he's going to be able to keep himself clean, guf noki, during Kriyas Shema, he should put on Kriyas Shema, he should put on tefillin before Kriyas Shema, meaning after the bracha of Avo Rabbo, then he should make a bracha and put on tefillin for Kriyas Shema, and then he can take them off straight after Kriyas Shema. Says the Mishnah Berura.
After Kriyas Shema?
Sorry?
After Kriyas Shema, or
if he knows he can hold on for longer, then for longer. If not,
okay. So the minimum would be to wear them for Kriyas Shema,
right?
Not Kriyas Shema. And
if you can wear it for tefillin, that's even better.
Right.
Says the Mishnah Berura of Cotton Vav, MISHNA Berura, Lafukim only Berura, Bevada in Levatel Afilu Tefillah B'Tzibur B'Shum. If he's not sure if he's going to be able to hold out during shemoneh-esrei, then he should daven shemoneh-esrei. So only if he's 100% sure that he's not going to make it through shemoneh-esrei without passing wind, then he shouldn't daven shemoneh-esrei. If he's unsure, then he should go for it. So if Cotton Zayin is Palel, Dafka Tefillah Mishum Tehu Ka'omed Lifnei HaMelech. We're only talking here about shemoneh-esrei, tefillah, because tefillah is ka'omed lifnei HaMelech. When one davens tefillah, we're going to talk about it when we get to tefillah. Then when one davens shemoneh-esrei, he's standing in front of the king. He's standing in front of the king, and therefore there are many halachas which are specific to shemoneh-esrei, because it has this aspect of standing in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, standing in front of the king, and therefore this is the first halacha we're seeing, the first distinction between shemoneh-esrei and other parts of davening, including Kriyas Shema. Because of this, it's a gnai hu la'amod lispalel adash yishtek b'emtza ad sheyichlo reach. It's a gnai for him to stand to start shemoneh-esrei knowing that in the middle he's going to have to pass wind, and then stop and wait until the smell passes before he can continue. Because of this gnai, and therefore he should not start shemoneh-esrei if he knows for sure that it's going to come to this scenario. However, Kriyas Shema and the brachos of Kriyas Shema, right, the two brachos on the before and the bracha afterwards, those he can wear even without tefillin. These he can. Sorry, the Kriyas Shema and the brachos he can do even though he knows that he's going to come to passing wind in the middle, and he's going to have to wait in the middle until the smell passes. However, he should do this without tefillin. If he knows for sure he's going to pass wind, shemoneh-esrei he can't do. Kriyas Shema he can do without tefillin. Right? And he'll stop in the middle. If he has to pass wind, he stops in the middle until the smell passes, and then he continues Kriyas Shema. Mishnah Berura of Cotton Ches, Shat Kriyas Shema. We'll see more details of this in Hilchos Tefillah when we get to it. It says in Mishnah Berura of Cotton Tes, Vivorich, V'yikro behen Shema, v'achar kach yichaltzi. So in this case, where he feels that he can manage Shema without passing wind, he should put on tefillin immediately before Shema, say Shema, and then take them off straight afterwards. If he knows he
When it says Shema, we're talking about all the verses of Shema.
Right.
Okay.
He's talking about all the verses of Shema, but if one holds that, if one feels that one can manage to do the first two parshas of Shema with his tefillin, they should put them on for those two.
Because they're the ones that mentioned tefillin.
Those are the ones that mentioned tefillin.
Right.
And even for one, if he can do it for one parsha, that's also good.
Right.
As much as he can manage.
Right.
He knows he can manage even the first part of Shema with his tefillin. After that, more than that, he can't manage. Then he should put it on. It's better than not wearing tefillin.
So he takes it off.
It's better than not wearing tefillin at all. Whatever he knows he can manage.
Right.
And then to take it off between the parshas. So in the case where he knows he can manage without passing wind, then he should put them on for as long as he knows he can manage. if he knows that he can't manage, then he shouldn't put on tefillin. He should start davening. It's the Shema. And when the wind, if he passes wind, then he should stop. Wait till the smell passes and then continue. In the case of shemoneh-esrei, he should only do this. He should do the same unless he knows for sure he's not going to manage the whole of the shemoneh-esrei without passing wind. In the case of shemoneh-esrei, if he knows for sure he won't manage to get to shemoneh-esrei without passing wind, then he shouldn't even start. He shouldn't daven shemoneh-esrei at all.
Assuming that that's his situation, the latter, and hours pass and he's feeling better, right? He's already said shemoneh-esrei without tefillin. He wants it done tefillin. He's at home now, let's say. He wants it done. So he puts on his tefillin. Does he say anything other than brachas?
He says the first two parshas of Shema.
He does. Okay.
He says the first two parshas of Shema.
Okay.
Okay. To try and rectify the aspect we mentioned of Meyud Eder Sheker Batzmo, of mentioning Shema without tefillin, he testified that he read the command without actually doing it. So now again he's putting on tefillin and reading the command, saying, now I am wearing tefillin, I'm fulfilling the command.
Right.
Okay. There we go. We'll continue on Tuesday, Mitzvah.
Okay.